has arrived. Eli Karam, University of Louisville, Kent School of Social Work. Good to see you again, brother.
It's good to see you, Terry.
President-elect of Kentucky Association for Marriage and Family Therapy, and always good to have you on board here because we talk about advice and so forth. And
I'm happy to be here on this Good Friday.
that's exactly what is a very good Friday. All right, I just played this clip, this out-of-context clip from American Idol.
Randy loved you last night, Casey.
That's that Ryan Seacrest. You know, you can take his words and they can mean all kinds of things.
Whoa! The wheels have fallen off this program.
What is going on?
You just kissed the most beautiful woman in all the world.
Are you going to do it too because you have the beard on?
There's a joke there, but I'm not going to it. If you want to vote for Casey...
Ryan Seacrest making a beer joke in association with his own name, and then he goes back for another.
If you're with AT&T, you can text the word vote to 5705 from your wireless phone. Thank you. This hurts. This is what it feels like to be a man.
That's Ryan Seacrest. He's one of our fine Clear Channel co-workers. He works in a little town called Los Angeles. He's not in a big city like Louisville, but we're both L.A.
You ever worry about that Ryan Seacrest? He's always on TV or radio. I mean, what kind of balanced personal life can Ryan Seacrest have?
I don't know how he does what he does, but obviously he makes a couple little sly comments there now and again. He's a funny guy. He's a talented guy. And occasionally, you know, things, let's say you embarrass yourself at work. So I just used Ryan because he's a public figure, but let's help people who have these moments at work where, I don't know, they had a bad meeting with somebody, and then all of a sudden they're marked. How do you sort of recover? How do you regenerate your image among your peers at work?
That's a good one, because we've all messed up at some point, right? At some points in our professional career, personal career. We're talking about relationships here. So I think the first step would be you don't fight it. If you make a mistake, don't over-defend yourself, Terry. Don't go on a crusade to prove that you were taken out of conscious words. Just acknowledge what you did. Acknowledge your part in what went wrong.
But doesn't a bucket of muffins help? Here's some muffins. I'm sorry I screamed at everybody at work.
Right. Yeah, and don't go on Facebook or social media and defend your case or stir up water cooler. Yeah, I think doing nice things for coworkers or for other people that might have been on the other end of your miscue, I think that's a good idea. But also, get involved. If you've made a public miscue, rehab your image, get involved in some other productive things that show you in your best light, and do not continue the drama from the miscue.
That was just a little gag thing that Ryan Seacrest was just doing, talking about his own personal situation. But this guy, Mel Gibson, you remember all that we went through last summer, hearing all those tapes, the screaming and so forth. He's finally talked to a website, and everybody's kind of quoting the interview today. He thanks, here's a question. What do you think of Whoopi Goldberg going out on a limb and publicly defending you? His answer: I knew Whoopi before she was Whoopi, and as she's great, and I always liked her and loved her, I like her even more now because she got it. She took a lot of flack for defending you, the questioner asks. I know. I love her for it. That's always good when you have associates who are there to defend people when they're having obviously they're kind of off the reservation.
Whether you're high profile like Mel Gibson or, again, a coworker, somebody that knows you, really you, and can advocate for you, having a good network of people is certainly important in rehabbing or rebuilding anything. And sometimes you find out who your real friends are in times like that.
Yeah, in tough times. And is it better to have this ally that you have at work sort of help mend a fence with somebody that, let's say you snapped at somebody and you yelled at somebody and you think it's compromised your position at work?
I think it's who that person is. Lots of people at work, depending on their tenure and their credibility, they hold a lot of weight in the fact that some people or many people respect them. Versus, you know, if you have the office nag going to your aide, it's probably not going to help you. So I think it's who that person is and how they can, help you rehab that. But at the end of the day, if you haven't acknowledged what you've done and taken some part in it, it's going to be hard for people to give you another chance. So I think that's, when I'm talking with couples or sometimes going into companies and consulting and family businesses, it's like generally it's never one person's complete fault. So it's can you acknowledge your part in what went wrong, and kind of move on from there. And then that helps a lot of people. But if you're just defending your case to the very end and explaining away, it's going to be hard for people to feel sorry for you, give you a second chance.
Digging in your heels and just saying, I'm never going to say I was wrong.
Right. And that's like a natural impulse in a lot of us to get defensive and hold our turf, especially if we got a lot, thinking of a job in this economy, you got a lot to hold on to. So some people people think if they show weakness or admit culpability or their responsibility, it's going to be negative for them. I think, again, depending on your work situation, I don't think that's always the truth. We all mess up.
All right, your relationship during difficult times, whether you're just having some pressure from work or just the economic forces, the economic reality right now, as you just noted, makes everybody a little more skittish about their employment. And what can people do to sort of bolster things at home if you're probably giving your partner at home the short end of the stick because you're overcommitting at work because you're fearful of losing your job?
Right. Your partner needs to understand the context at work. So sometimes when a couple comes into my office, the partner might say, I've been at work all day. It's stressful. I don't want to talk to you about it. And that makes the other spouse at home, maybe they're a stay-at-home mother or a stay-at-home husband for that matter, but, they want to know their partner's world. So if they don't have some kind of aspect into the climate at work or what's going on, it makes them feel left out or disconnected from their partner. So I think the skill is telling your partner enough, and for the person that has the work stress, to be real specific of what you want for your partner. Because sometimes they don't want someone to problem solve or tell them how to handle this employee or this boss. They just want someone to listen and validate that it's a stressful situation for them.
Dr. Eli Karam's in the studio with me. Marriage and family therapy is his strong suit, is his field of study. And I'm gonna swerve a little bit here. We're going to stay in the family unit, but here comes Easter Sunday. One of you is religious, and the other one just, oh, no, you're not going to make me go to church.
Oh, God, we got to wake up early.
Yeah. What do you do when couples come in and this is an issue? Because this is kind of an elephant in the room for a lot of people, isn't it? One person says, can we just go to church on Easter?
Right.
And the other person said, that's not for me.
And where we see this a lot, too, maybe early in your relationship, it wasn't that big a deal. Maybe one person was more religious than the other, but it's really triggered for a lot of couples when you have children and when your children get old enough to go. It's like, you got to do this. You got to be the good parent. You got to go for the kids. And sometimes, unless you can get on board with that early, it becomes a big problem. And I think it is in negotiation, but it is, again, lots of times spouses can go and support their other spouse or their children without really fully participating and just being.
But like playing games on your iPhone would be a little out of line.
That's right. Downloading apps, not a good idea during the sermon.
Well, the preaching is going on up there. Now, different religions, I've seen examples before of people in marriages of different religions where they'll say, okay, we'll go to your service here and we'll go to my service there.
Yeah.
And they work that out. But if the one person is really just kind of, I'm just not interested in any of that. I'm an agnostic, and I just leave me out of it.
Deal breaker for a lot of couples. I've seen them aligned on all these other dimensions, shared interests, socioeconomic status, education, but the religion can be a deal breaker. It's something that generally you talk about early in a relationship, and it's hard to think of unless you have these some relationships where religion was not important, and then you've had this light bulb moment, to come to Jesus moment, because we're allowed to say Jesus today on
We're allowed to say Jesus. So it's Good Friday. Jesus!
I want to get in all my Jesus references, but you've had that moment. And now it's a big deal to you, and your partner's like, well, this is not, when we met, this was not a big deal. So this is a big change. And a lot of people, have problems. Then it wouldn't be uncommon for someone to come and see a marriage and family therapist when one person has had a crisis in faith or a rediscovery of faith, and it changes the game.
Do you see in couples as they move along the life journey, they get older, that religion of some sort becomes a bigger issue because, frankly, they're moving closer to the end of the tunnel.
Right. And lots of couples will talk about the difference between, a organized religion and a kind of spiritual kind of connection.
Right.
And I think
is that a cop-out or not?
I don't know. It depends who you talk to. I mean, I think you need something to anchor to you. If all I've said on your show before, if all your happiness rises and falls with that one person, that's too much pressure for any spouse or partner to take. So I think having other things in your life, including religion or faith, is not a bad thing, but it's got to fit with the couple, and it's also got to be in balance. You can imagine if someone is spending all their time at church or church-related activities, and that's taken away from the couple.
Exactly. If someone starts obsessing, and then they're at church all the time, and they're all churchy all the time, and then they're throwing it on you, and they've gone through this metamorphosis, and your partner has changed significantly. And it's like, hello?
Yeah, who are you? Also, if the partner uses their faith or their newfound religion to justify decisions in the marriage, especially in some more fundamentalist type of religions or beliefs, and those type of couples come into my office a lot, and they're saying, well, that's not what we heard on Sunday. And those people don't want to see secular, kind of non-religious kind of helpers like me.
All right, we're a little out of time on this one. Just hang around for another segment.
Let's
here.
do it.
Dr. Eli Karam, his website is elikaram.com. Last name spelled Karam. elikaram.com.